Friends, the marriage of a Hafiza Quran, one who has memorized the Quran, girl to a mongoose took place, and what happened afterward was unbearable for anyone to witness. To know the complete story of this incident, stay with us. In a small village, there lived a landlord named Landlord. He was a man of kind heart and noble character. He never let his wealth make him arrogant. He had 3 wives and never discriminated between them. However, none of the 3 wives had children. Landlord married again and again because of his desire for children, eventually ending up with 3 marriages. Yet he remained deprived of the blessing of children. He would often think to himself, perhaps there is some flaw in me, which is why none of my 3 wives have borne children. If I don't have children, what will I do with my wealth? And my lineage will not continue. One day, a farmer from a neighboring village came to Landlord regarding some work. Landlord shared his sorrow with the farmer, who then told him about a pious elder known for treating various ailments. The farmer mentioned that this elder had a large fruit tree in his courtyard, and for those seeking children, the elder would perform spiritual prayers, blessings, on the fruit and offer it to them to eat. He would also pray to Allah for the individuals who ate the fruit. The farmer suggested, "You should visit him once. It was assured that you would not return empty-handed." Hearing this, Landlord became very happy. The very next day, Landlord arrived at that place. He saw an open field with a small hut in it and, in the middle of the open field, a very large fruit tree. Landlord went inside the hut and saw an elderly man of God holding a rosary and deeply engrossed in worship. Chaudhry sat down near the pious elder. The elder turned towards Landlord, who explained his predicament that despite being married for many years, none of his 3 wives had borne children. The elder walked over to the tree, picked 3 fruits, and gave them to Chaudhry, saying, "Give each of these fruits to your wives, one by one, to eat." Chaudhry, overjoyed, took the fruits home. He happily gave 1 fruit to each of his wives. 2 of the wives ate the fruit immediately, but the 3rd wife put her fruit aside, distracted by her chores. Meanwhile, a mongoose came from somewhere, nibbled on the fruit, and left. A little later, the 3rd wife picked up the same fruit and ate it as it was. By Allah's command, all 3 wives became pregnant a month later. 9 months passed, and the time came for delivery. The first 2 wives gave birth to beautiful sons, but the 3rd wife gave birth to a son who resembled a mongoose. Seeing this, Chaudhry became deeply troubled and went back to the pious elder to share what had happened. He told him, "My 2 wives have given birth to very handsome sons, but my 3rd wife has given birth to a son who looks like a mongoose. Why has this happened?" Hearing this, the elder closed his eyes for a while. When he opened them, he told Chaudhry, "Your 3rd wife ate the fruit after it was nibbled on by a mongoose. That is why your son resembles a mongoose. However, he will remain small in size, but he will be extremely intelligent." Hearing this, Chaudhry returned home. When people saw such a son, they too were astonished. No one ever called him by his name. Everyone referred to him as the mongoose son. Landlord's elder sons, the eldest and the middle one, would not play with their younger brother. They always kept him away from themselves, distancing him from childhood. When all 3 sons grew up, the youngest son still looked exactly like a mongoose. Landlord decided that it was time to send his 2 older sons to find jobs so they could earn money through their hard work. He instructed only the 2 elder sons, but when the youngest son overheard this, he said, "Father, I have grown up too. I can work and earn money as well." Hearing this, Landlord replied, "Son, you are still too small. Your size and stature are too small, and no one will give you a job." But the mongoose son did not agree. He insisted, saying, "I will also go to work." Seeing his son's persistence, Landlord finally relented and said, "All right, you can go too." The 2 elder brothers set out to find work, and the mongoose brother followed shortly after. The elder brothers had walked quite far when the scorching heat began to take its toll on them. They were extremely thirsty and, after looking around, spotted a coconut tree with many coconuts hanging high up. The problem was that neither of them knew how to climb the tree, and it was very tall. Despite their best efforts, neither could climb the tree to get the coconuts. Then the elder brother said, "If only our mongoose brother were here, he would climb the tree in an instant." Just then, they heard a voice from behind, "Brother, I am right here." Seeing their mongoose brother, they breathed a sigh of relief. Without wasting any time, the Mongoose brother climbed the tree and dropped several coconuts down. The two elder brothers drank their fill of coconut water and thanked their Mongoose brother. Then the three brothers continued their journey. A little further along, they saw another tree, but this one was covered with sharp thorns. The thorns made it impossible for the elder brothers to climb it. Once again, they found themselves in need of their Mongoose brother's help. This time, they felt ashamed that they needed help from the Mongoose brother they often disregarded. Still, they asked him, "Brother, we're hungry. Can you bring us some berries from the tree?" The Mongoose brother, who loved his brothers dearly, quickly climbed the tree and plucked plenty of berries for them. The elder brothers ate to their heart's content. Exhausted from walking all day, the three of them fell asleep under the tree. Even though the elder brothers had accepted help from their Mongoose brother, they still did not want to take him along. When the Mongoose son woke up, he saw that his two brothers had left him behind. Seeing this, the Mongoose son felt deeply hurt and began to cry. Looking up at the sky, he said, "O Allah, why does everyone abandon me because of my body? I am also your creation. Why does no one like me?" Hearing this, the Mongoose son consoled himself and set off in search of a job. He wandered to another area, while the elder brothers found work at a wealthy man's house. The Mongoose son, however, kept roaming from place to place in search of a job. Nobody would hire him because of his small size and unusual appearance. Eventually, the Mongoose son approached a merchant and said, "Can you give me a job? I will do any work you assign to me." The man replied, "Do you even think you are capable of working?" The Mongoose son insisted, "I will work for free." The merchant, being a shrewd man, thought to himself that no one works for free. However, he decided to hire the Mongoose son to care for his young son, thinking it was worth a try. The merchant explained, "My wife has passed away, so I need someone to take care of my son, look after him, and also teach him manners." The next day, the merchant taught the Mongoose son how to care for his son. The merchant was pleased, but his son, who was extremely mischievous, started troubling the Mongoose son a lot. The boy teased him relentlessly and even pushed him off the roof one day, causing the Mongoose son to bleed from his head. When the merchant returned home that night, the Mongoose son explained what his son had done. Instead of being concerned, the merchant clapped his hands and laughed, saying, "That's just how my son is. I've hired many servants to care for him, but none have stayed long." The Mongoose son endured everything, serving the boy and tolerating his tantrums. In return, the boy treated him terribly. The merchant himself also treated the Mongoose son poorly, often denying him proper food. Whenever the merchant returned home in the evening, his son would complain about the Mongoose son, and the merchant would scold him harshly. The Mongoose son grew deeply unhappy and cried often, thinking to himself, "Why is it that those I try to be good to only repay me with insults? I should run away from here." But then he resolved, "Running away won't solve anything. I need to settle the score. I'll treat them the way they treat me." The Mongoose son noticed that the merchant was dishonest, greedy, and involved in shady dealings to amass wealth. Over time, the Mongoose son devised a clever plan. Gradually, he managed to gain control over the merchant's son, making it impossible for the boy to misbehave in his presence. Now, the Mongoose son decided to teach the merchant a lesson. Whenever the boy got hungry or thirsty while his father was away, the Mongoose son used his needs as leverage. If the boy asked for food, the Mongoose son would say, "If you eat, I won't give you water." If he asked for water, he would say, "If you drink, I won't give you food." Finally, he told the boy, "I'll only give you what you want if you tell me where your father keeps his money." The boy, driven by hunger and thirst, revealed everything. The Mongoose son discovered that the merchant had hidden a significant amount of money inside an old, decayed mattress in the house. The Mongoose son began feeding all the merchant's hidden money to the old mattress. Every time the merchant's son asked for food, the Mongoose son would extract more secrets about where his father had hidden his wealth. Slowly but surely, the Mongoose son managed to gather an enormous amount of money, including many gold coins, which he also fed to the mattress. Over time, the Mongoose son transferred all the merchant's wealth into the mattress. Once he had accumulated enough, he thought, it's time to return home. He decided to find his elder brothers first. After searching for them in the area, he said, "Brothers, it's time for us to go back home. We've earned enough money, and our family must be missing us." For the first time, the elder brothers agreed with their younger brother and said, "All right, we'll leave tomorrow morning." They all packed their belongings. While the elder brothers sought permission from their employer to leave, the Mongoose son approached the merchant. He told the merchant, "I am deeply saddened to leave, as I enjoyed working here." The merchant, impressed by his work, replied, "I am also saddened by your departure. Before you leave, ask for anything you want, and I'll grant it." The Mongoose son said, "I don't want much, just give me that old dried-up mattress of yours." The merchant, relieved to get rid of the worthless mattress, happily agreed. "Take it," he said. "It's of no use to me anyway. It was a burden to maintain." Overjoyed, the Mongoose son took the mattress and set out with his brothers toward their home. On the way, the elder brothers mocked him, saying, "After all these years of working, all you've brought back is a filthy, torn mattress." They laughed loudly, clapping their hands in amusement. The Mongoose son, however, remained silent, lovingly carrying his mattress. He had learned to endure their taunts. Along the way, the brothers became hungry again and asked him, "Mongoose brother, climb that tree and get us some berries to eat." The Mongoose son nodded and climbed the tree. However, this time he ate the plump, ripe berries himself and threw down the sour, unripe ones for his brothers. The elder brothers were shocked at this sudden change in their younger siblings' behavior. As they continued their journey, they encountered more fruit-laden trees. The Mongoose son would swiftly climb them, eat his fill, and even feed his beloved mattress while throwing only the inferior fruits down to his brothers. Meanwhile, he walked ahead of them, happily sitting atop the mattress, which seemed to bring him great comfort. The elder brothers grew tired from walking while the Mongoose son enjoyed his cushioned ride. They whispered among themselves, "Let's first see what this Mongoose brother of ours has brought back home. After all, it's just a mattress. What's so special about it?" Finally, the three brothers reached their village. Their arrival caused a stir, and the entire village gathered to see them. Since each of the brothers had a different mother, their father, Chaudhry, had built separate homes for all three of them to avoid any disputes. Chaudhry had always treated his wives equally, showing the same love and respect to each. When Noella entered his house with his miraculous mattress, the villagers began laughing at him, saying, "Look, look, Noella has returned with just an old mattress." Ignoring their mockery, Noella calmly placed the mattress in the courtyard and went straight to his mother. He said to her, "Mother, clean the house quickly, invite a few young Hafiz Quran students to recite the Quran here, and also bring a sturdy stick." Hearing this, the villagers burst out laughing again. They whispered among themselves, amused at Noella's strange request. Even his mother was puzzled and said, "Son, what are you talking about? Clean the house, Quran recitation, children, and a stick. What does all this mean?" Noella, however, remained adamant and repeated, "Mother, clean the house, invite Hafiz Quran children for recitation, and bring a stick. Please trust me." The villagers suggested to Noella's mother, "Why not just listen to him once? Let's see what he's up to." Following her son's wishes, the mother cleaned the house thoroughly. Then, a few children who had memorized the Quran were invited to recite verses. A sturdy stick was also brought as instructed. When the children began reciting the Quran, Noella urged them, "Recite louder and with more enthusiasm." The children obeyed and began reciting in raised voices. Noella then struck the mattress with the stick twice. To everyone's astonishment, the mattress began spewing out gold coins. The sight left everyone shocked. Then, as realization dawned, the crowd began chanting, "Allahu Akbar." When the flow of gold coins stopped, Noella said, "Children, keep reciting the Quran." He then struck the mattress 4 times with the stick. This time, the mattress released an even greater abundance of gold and wealth at an incredible speed. The villagers were now convinced that the seemingly worthless old mattress was a miraculous one. They began calling it the Blessed Mattress. The crowd, intrigued, turned to Noella's elder brothers and asked, What have you both brought back from your journeys?" The elder brothers sheepishly revealed their earnings, but their meager savings were nothing compared to the immense wealth Noella's mattress had produced. Seeing the wealth that the mattress generated, the elder brothers were overcome with greed. They decided to buy the blessed mattress from Noella. Noella, ever so clever, said, "I am willing to part with this miraculous mattress, but on one condition: you must give me all the money you have earned in exchange for it." The brothers, blinded by greed, conferred among themselves and concluded, "We can always earn back this money once we have the miraculous mattress." Here is the continuation of the translation. The two elder brothers gave all their earned money to Noella and bought the blessed mattress from him. They returned home and began the same ritual of calling children to recite the Quran and striking the mattress with a stick. Word of the mattress had spread throughout the village. The brothers struck the mattress once, but only one gold coin appeared. They continued striking the mattress, reciting more Quran verses, but despite their efforts, no more coins came out. In frustration, the mattress collapsed in the courtyard, and the two brothers sat down, holding their heads in disbelief. Realizing that the magic was no longer working, they returned the mattress to Noella and told him, "Here is your mattress, you take care of it. We have no interest in it anymore." They left and went back to their home. Noella, however, took great care of the mattress, treating it with love. He always made sure to feed it well and look after it. Over time, the mattress became fat and healthy. Despite the villagers' mockery, Noella remained happy and undisturbed by their remarks, choosing to focus on his own life. As time passed, Noella's two older brothers accumulated wealth and, following their father's advice, got married when suitable matches came. But Noella remained single, and his brothers teased him, saying, "Noella will marry his mattress." Noella's father, the village chief, and his mother became concerned about Noella's marriage, as he was now of marriageable age. At the same time, Noella's mother, due to old age, became sick. Her hands and feet no longer worked properly, but she still managed to take care of household chores. One day, Noella's mother fell seriously ill with a fever. She was unable to do the household work, and all of it fell upon Noella. Though Noella had no experience with cooking, he tried his best. Unfortunately, the meal he prepared burned and went to waste, and that night, both Noella and his mother went to bed hungry. In the middle of the night, someone knocked on the door. Noella got up, thinking it might be a thief. However, when he checked the house, there was no one there. The next morning, he was surprised to find that the house was spotless, and delicious food had been cooked in the kitchen. Noella was overjoyed and served the food to his mother before eating it himself. He wondered who could have done this. The same thing happened the following day. Everything was clean, food was cooked, and even the clothes had been washed. Noella found this odd but continued to wonder who was behind these mysterious acts of kindness. Curious, Noella decided to stay awake one night to uncover the truth. As the night passed, he heard some rustling sounds and quickly opened the window to see what was happening. To his surprise, he saw the door of the mattress's small shed open on its own. The mattress floated outside, glowing with golden light. Slowly, it transformed into a beautiful woman. Her beauty was so radiant that it filled the entire area with light. Noella, watching from the window, could hardly believe his eyes. The beautiful woman began to chant something, and with a glance at the broom, it started cleaning by itself. Noella's head started spinning due to the lack of sleep, and his eyes grew heavy. He couldn't stay awake for long, and eventually fell asleep. When he woke up the next morning, he found himself in a corner of his room. He went outside to check the shed, and the sun was blazing overhead. When he peeked inside the shed, he saw that the mattress had a rope tied around its neck and was standing still. Noella was shocked. He approached the mattress and began asking it questions. "Who are you, and where did you come from?" He kept questioning it, but the mattress remained silent, simply gazing at him. After a while, he grew tired and returned to his room, deep in thought. He decided, "Tonight, I will uncover the mystery of this mattress." Noella spent the day walking around the village and, by evening, took some sleeping medicine. He lay on his cot thinking about the mattress. When midnight arrived, just like the previous night, the shed door opened. The mattress came out, glowing with golden light. Within moments, it transformed into a beautiful woman. The light was so bright that Noella had to close his eyes, unable to bear the intensity. When he opened his eyes again, the beautiful woman was standing in the courtyard, reciting something under her breath. Noella quickly opened the door and stood before her, determined to learn her secret. The woman, startled, tried to flee, but Noella firmly commanded, "Stop, don't go." She halted in her tracks. Noella asked again, "Who are you, and where did you come from?" The woman replied, "I am a Muslim, a Hafiz of the Quran. I engage in a lot of worship, and it is time for me to perform my tahajjud, night prayers." Noella then asked, "Tell me, how did you turn from a woman into a mattress?" The woman began recounting her story. "In the village where I lived, most people were Hindus, and very few Muslims resided there. The Hindus had built a large temple, and loudspeakers played music throughout the day. In contrast, our small mosque echoed with the call to prayer, and I wanted to spread Islam throughout the village. Children used to come to me to learn the Quran, and I would teach them. There was an elderly man, a devout Muslim, who had the gift of healing. He would treat the sick and teach the Quran to children. He had converted many people to Islam, and many of the Hindu villagers who had been healed by him became Muslims. The priest of the temple, seeing this, became jealous and started using magic against me. I went to the elder for help, and he advised me to never stray from Allah's remembrance. He told me that the priest had many evil powers, but that as long as I remained devoted to Allah, I would be safe. I continued teaching the Quran, and one day, a few women from the local families came to me to learn the Quran. I taught them the Shahada, declaration of faith, and began the recitation of the Quran. This angered the priest even more, and he cast a spell on me that transformed me into this mattress. When it's time for my tahajjud prayers, I revert to my true form. The elders of my village advised me to remain in my true form and continue my worship, for Allah would protect me. The time will come when you will be married, and you will be with your husband to defeat the priest, Sadhu Baba, who is a great sorcerer. He possesses many evil jinn-like powers, and he has been misleading many people. But you are a Hafiz of the Quran, and you have the power of the Quran. With this power, you can destroy Sadhu Baba. Once you do that, you will be free to remain in your true form forever." Noella listened carefully, silent for a moment, thinking deeply. After a while, he said, "If you want, I can marry you. I am ready to defeat Sadhu Baba with you. I may not be beautiful, but I am who I am, and I will stand by you." The beautiful woman replied, "Beauty is not in looks, it is in character. True beauty lies in good manners, and that is what our faith teaches us." Noella said, "We will marry tomorrow, and at midnight, after performing the tahajjud prayers, we will set out for Sadhu Baba's place." When Noella discussed this with his father, his brothers, and their mothers, they mocked him mercilessly. They laughed and said, "Of course, who else would marry a mattress like that?" Despite their teasing, his parents eventually gave in to his stubbornness, and the marriage was arranged. At midnight, the two of them prayed tahajjud, and Noella tied a small cloth bag to his side, placing inside it a pouch of red chili powder. Then, invoking Allah's name, they set off towards Sadhu Baba's lair. On the way, the beautiful woman said to Noella, "We have the strength of the Quran, but we also need intelligence to overcome him. We must use our minds to defeat him." Noella explained his plan, and they soon reached a dense forest. In the middle of it was a cave, surrounded by animal bones. A strange, foul smell filled the air. The two of them continued reciting Quranic verses as they entered the cave. Inside, there was a faint fire, possibly lit to provide some light. The cave was dark, with barely any light. After a while, a strange, heavy sound echoed through the cave, as though someone was speaking in an unfamiliar language. It was probably Sadhu Baba. The couple continued without fear, reciting Quranic verses. They moved forward and soon saw Sadhu Baba sitting, muttering something under his breath. At first, they were frightened, but then quickly composed themselves. Noella seized the opportunity, picked up a small stone, and crushed it in his hands, trying to make it appear as though he was using a powerful technique. As he did so, a small cracking sound was heard when the egg hidden in his pouch broke. Sadhu Baba was startled, thinking that Noella had crushed a stone and cast it away. But the sorcerer's powers had little effect on Noella. Sadhu Baba, realizing that no one had ever dared enter his cave, became furious. He charged towards them, but they quickly stepped back. As Sadhu Baba's attack failed, he took out an axe and hurled it at them, but once again, his attack was unsuccessful. Sadhu Baba grabbed the woman, and in that moment, Noella rushed at him, climbing onto his shoulders. With his pouch, Noella drew a knife and struck Sadhu Baba in the head. The sorcerer cried out in pain and released the woman. Noella fell to the ground, wounded slightly, but quickly recovered. Sadhu Baba, now fully enraged, attempted to crush Noella under his feet. As the sorcerer lifted his foot to strike, Noella swiftly thrust the same knife into the sorcerer's foot. When Sadhu Baba planted his foot on the ground, the knife pierced through, and he fell to the ground in agony. Noella saw this opportunity, quickly grabbed the red chili powder from his pouch, and poured it into Sadhu Baba's eyes. The sorcerer screamed in pain, unable to see. The sorcerer, Sadhu Baba, began to writhe in pain from the burning sensation caused by the chili powder. He stumbled, trying to find his way, but he no longer had the strength to fight. Noella quickly climbed onto his feet. Since Sadhu Baba could no longer see due to the chili, he struck out blindly, accidentally hitting himself with an axe. As soon as he tried to attack, Noella swiftly moved back, and the sorcerer ended up injuring himself further. Sadhu Baba, now utterly defeated and unable to continue fighting, fell to the ground, screaming in pain. Noella and the beautiful woman were relieved, but suddenly, Sadhu Baba grabbed Noella from behind. Seeing that he was still alive and not dying from his injuries, the woman was filled with anger. She grabbed the axe and, with all her strength, swung it at Sadhu Baba's neck. As the blow landed, Sadhu Baba released Noella, and he fell to the ground, screaming as he tumbled into the fire, where he perished. When Noella regained consciousness, he found himself lying on a rock, and the beautiful woman was standing beside him. Miraculously, he had no injuries and was perfectly fine. Looking up at the sun, he smiled and said, "Look, it's a perfect day, and you are back to your true form. That means we've succeeded." She quickly grabbed his hand and led him to an elderly man, a revered figure who was known for his wisdom and power. She said to him, "O wise one, I accept my husband as he is, but when he is ridiculed by people, mocked, and looked down upon, I can't bear it." The elderly man rose and went to a fruit tree. He plucked a fruit and gave it to Noella. After eating it, Noella transformed into a beautiful young man. Now, restored to his true self and having become even more handsome, Noella took his wife's hand and led her home. When his parents saw him, they were overjoyed. His mother embraced him, thanking Allah for his return to his true form. When his brothers heard about it, they rushed to see him. They were shocked by his transformation and immediately apologized to him, promising never to mock or belittle him again. Dear viewers, what if the person we ridicule, whether it is a woman or a man, is actually someone very close to Allah? We often think of ourselves as better than others, mocking them and spreading rumors about them, but we forget that we should fear Allah. This world is fleeting, even more fragile than the wing of a mosquito. We should never belittle anyone because we don't know how close they might be to Allah. May Allah grant us the strength to do good and avoid sin. Friends, please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, share with your family and friends, and subscribe to our channel, African Tales 2.0. Thank you.